everybody, and welcome to Get Going with Google Photos, the hands-on class. Now, we're going to be on hands-on on your device a bit later in the class today, but first we need to talk theory. So we need to talk theory, we need to talk what's going on here before we go any further. Now, I have I have 3 phones on me right now, plus an iPad, plus 2 laptops, plus all these different things like that, and you're like, Rich, why do you have this many things? Well, it's because the only way I can make sure I always have a charge on my phone is that I always have a phone with me. So that's the basic concept. So I got all these different devices, all these different things like that. But the thing is, when you take pictures across all your devices, how do you know that they're backed up? So what I want to start with first is I'm going to take 3 pictures. I'm going to take 3 pictures. I'm going to put on the screen when I take these 3 pictures. Here's the 3 pictures I'm going to take. I'm going to take number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now here's the question. I have 3 pictures. How many copies, there's no internet involved at this point in time, how many copies of each of these 3 pictures do I have? One. We agree in that assumption, correct? I have 1 copy of each of the pictures. Now if you've seen this in a previous cruise, at this point, no more participation in the picture thing, because I want to see someone get it wrong. Is what I'm trying to, I want to see someone get it realistic. So now if I take this picture, and I put it on my other iPhone, I then have how many copies? 2. I then put it on my iPad. I have how many copies? 3. Put it on my Samsung Galaxy S8. I have 4. Put on my MacBook Pro. I have 5. We all understand what a copy is, but here's the loaded question. How many backups do I have?
None.
1.
Okay. Who says 1? You say 1. So give me your logic for saying 1.
I have iCloud.
Okay, we're saying no internet. I said
I'm sorry.
assume no internet
5,
right
then
now.
I'll stick with 5.
So we have
None.
We have 0 backups. Here's why. I want to be very clear. A backup is something that stays in a single location. Does that make sense to us all? A backup stays in a single location. All of these things, when I came up here, were on my person. Were in my pocket. I had 3 phones in my pocket. I don't think I'm ever going to have children. Let's be completely honest. When you carry 3 phones in your pocket, who knows? But I had 3 phones in my pocket. I had my iPad in my bag. I had my laptop in my bag. What happens if this bag were to have gotten lost or stolen? It's gone. So we understand that I have 5 copies, if I put it there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have those 5 copies, and I'm going to put a 6th copy on this computer right here. Now, how many backups do I have?
None.
1. I want to be very clear with you. A backup is something, if it's going to make it easier, there are some stools right there. You can take the stools and you can put yourself up on the stools. A backup is something that stays in a single location. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes. Now, here's the important thing. Every single backup is a copy, but not every single copy is a backup. Does that make sense to us?
Yes.
Does everybody understand a backup stays in one location? Every single cruise, I have at least 5 or 6 crew members come to me and they say, "Hey, Rich, I lost my backup of all of my life, and I'm crying, and life is terrible because I lost my backup." And I'm like, "Well, that's nice, but if you carry that around with you, is it a backup?" No, it's a copy. It's a copy. Now, what's interesting is I'm actually going to show you, because I have it upstairs, I want to show you how I back my things up. And this is very interesting, because I have not shown this forever, because I used to keep them down in my cabin, and I decided to move them up to my office. We've all seen Dr. Seuss before, right?
Yes. Right.
So how many of you have a portable hard drive? You have a portable hard drive. Mm-hmm. I don't have a desktop. I'm carrying my laptops around all the time. So if you've seen Dr. Seuss before, there are 2 characters in Dr. Seuss called Thing 1 and Thing 2. So my backups are done on Thing 1 and Thing 2. My backups stay permanently inside of the iLounge. I'm going to introduce you to Thing 1 and Thing 2. Now you're just going to watch them on the screen. I'm going to go to where Thing 1 and Thing 2 are. You won't, but just watch the screen. This is the home location. This is an obstacle course. This is the home location of Thing 1 and Thing 2. Yeah, these are my backups. That's Thing 1 and Thing 2. And already I was familiar with hard drive sizes. 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes.
Right.
That is 32 terabytes between Thing 1 and Thing 2. Now here's the funny thing. Thing 1 is for personal backups. This is for my personal files, for things I happen to have. And Thing 2 is for work backups. So I actually have a difference there. But what those are is those are what are called network attached storage. hard drive, but they always stay in one location, so thus, what are they? They're backups. So if I were to put it on there, believe it or not, each of those boxes is not a single backup, it's two backups, because it makes a double backup of my files inside of those boxes. But for all of you normal people that just have that don't have thing 1 and thing 2, I like to show thing 1 and thing 2, because here's the thing, that's where we're headed. We're headed to the fact that we're never going to plug anything into our device, and we'll just have something like thing 1 or thing 2. Thing is, thing 1 and thing 2 are made by a nerdy company. As soon as Apple makes a thing 1 or thing 2, they make a time capsule, which you might have heard of before. Microsoft makes them, like Western Digital makes a wireless book and stuff like that. But for now, we likely have a desktop or a laptop that acts as a desktop. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. So either a desktop or a laptop that acts as a desktop. And we've got that backing up to... We've got our stuff on there, correct? If a laptop doesn't move, is it effectively a desktop? Yes, if it stays in one location. Now, hopefully plugged into those machines, you have a hard drive. Now, I'm going to lie to you right now. Not many people will tell you when they're going to lie to you. This is my backup hard drive. Who wants to call me out on that? If I'm carrying it around, is it my backup hard drive?
No.
Not by your definition, no.
Not by my definition. It's not a backup hard drive. If you carry something around, it's not a backup. Technically speaking, when I move thing 1 and thing 2 from my cabin to up here, it's not a backup. I'm going to tell you what happened. I jostled thing 2 a little too much, and I broke one of the hard drives in thing 2. Now, I've got a replacement hard drive in Southampton, but the replacement hard drive in thing 2 is fine, so therefore it's a backup. But when a hard drive is moving around, it is not a backup, it is a copy. I want that to be very apparent, because if we look at the sheet, this class is broken into four different variables. The first part is, say, get going with Google Photos, the cheat sheet. I'll have some pens going around if you wanted to write anything. I'll pass some pens around that table, around this table, and around this table. If you look at the front that says the cheat sheet, it says, remember 3, 2, 2. Do you see that right on the front? Everything you care about, you want to have 3 backups of minimum. So, if you have a desktop computer, or you have a laptop computer, and you have a hard drive plugged into that computer, how many backups do we now have? If that hard drive stays plugged in a single location, we have 2 backups. So if we need 3 backups minimum, why not just plug in a second hard drive, right? We got more USB ports. Here's the problem. Would both of those hard drives be in the exact same location? Yes, they would be in the same location. So we need to make sure they're in 2 different locations, and they need to be on 2 different mediums. I don't like to bring up negative things like this, but sometimes you have to. I can make you a guaranteed fact that the next world war that goes on is not going to be fought with bombs. It's going to be fought with technology. It's going to be fought with encrypting people's data and hacking people's data and doing all those other things like that. It is very likely that Russia brought down Yahoo. They say it's a state-sponsored attack. They're not saying the state, but it's very likely that Russian hackers are the ones that went in and brought down Yahoo. Imagine banking systems, things like that. So what I say that's very important is you need 3 different backups. They need to be in 2 different locations, which we'll talk about in a minute, but they also need to be 2 different mediums. What I mean by that is you have a hard drive in your computer, and inside this little external hard drive, what is there?
Hard drive.
There's a hard drive. Is that 2 different mediums?
No.
It's not 2 different mediums. It's the same exact thing. So a hard drive and a hard drive. So you're like, well, that's not 2 different things. Now this hard drive, it's a very rugged hard drive. It's a solid-state drive, but all of your computers can be solid-state drives eventually. Now what I do as my other backup, I have like 6 backups, I actually burn, when I get home after 6 months or 4 months at sea, I burn a Blu-ray disc filled with all of my information. But the difference between a CD and a CD or a DVD are only a gig or 7 gigs or 4 gigs. A Blu-ray disc is 50 gigs, to give you an idea. So I have 50 gigs of information I can put there, but if there were an electromagnetic pulse, is a Blu-ray disc get destroyed? No, it doesn't. Some people, like my dad, he has every single SD card he's ever taken a picture with. He has every single SD card he's ever taken a picture with. It's like, oh, Dad, why do you do that? But then the idea is you have a different medium. So how do we solve? We get that we have a computer and we have a hard drive plugged into it, and that's 2 backups. Do we agree on that assumption? We should have a computer, have a hard drive plugged into it, and we got 2 backups. So Mac computer, when you plug in a hard drive, it's going to say, do you want to use Time Machine to back up this machine? And you say, okay. If it's a Windows computer you plug in, it's going to say, do you want to use Windows backup to back up this machine? We say, okay. Remember, lightning strikes the house. hits your computer, you think it's going to go out and kill that hard drive too? Of course it's going to go out and kill that hard drive. You know how you buy a surge protector and it says $10,000 equipment protection guarantee? That just means they're going to pay for your equipment. They're not going to pay for the data recovery on your equipment. It's thousands of dollars. I show this because the one thing we can't replace are our pictures and our videos, correct? Worst case scenario, you lose a Word file, you write the Word file again. You lose an Excel file, it's a lot of work, but guess what? You do the Excel file again. You go to Bergen, Norway, you drop your phone in a fountain, what happens to all your pictures from Bergen, Norway? Bye. So what you need is you need a different backup in a different location. And a lot of you that have Apple devices will go, iCloud. Yeah, we'll go iCloud. Now, we'll talk about iCloud in a minute, but I want to tell you the first company that let you back up your pictures unlimited, essentially for free, was a company called Flickr. You ever heard of Flickr? Yes. It was a company called Flickr. The problem is Flickr's parent company is Yahoo, and they're going through some tough troubles right now, so they cut that off a couple years ago. What's cool is there's another company that lets you back up for free. We'll talk about iCloud in a minute. There's another company that lets you back up for free called Amazon. You know Amazon. If you're an Amazon Prime member, there's a really cool app called Prime Photos. You sign in with your Amazon Prime account, and it lets you back up your photos for free. Now, this is an additional backup. This 322, 3 backups is at a minimum. Does that make sense? We're talking at a minimum, not at a maximum, but at a minimum, you want to have 3 backups. Now, some of you said iCloud. The problem is, for free with iCloud, you only get 5 gigs of storage. Your pictures from this Norway cruise are going to take up more than 5 gigs of storage, let alone anything you already have on there. You're going to 5 ports in Norway. I can guarantee if you're going on a tour, you're going on a shore excursion, you're going to take at least 1 gig of pictures a day. So it's going to take up a lot more than 5 gigs of storage. Now, how can Apple offer unlimited, how can Google offer unlimited storage when Apple offers limited storage? Because Google makes money when you use Google services. Apple makes money when you buy Apple products. Does that make sense? Apple is not a services company. They're a product company, to give you an idea. Now, just to give you an idea of how much money people spend on services, in October, November, and December of last year, because Apple hasn't released their quarter earnings for January, February, March, in October, November, December of last year, in the services category, which includes iCloud backup and different things like that, Apple made more in 3 months than Yahoo and AOL are worth as companies. Think about that for a second. And I'm not talking about in selling iPhones. I'm talking about they made more in their services category, just people paying for iCloud storage and things like that. The other thing is, a main reason, now she has the little one, she has the big one, I have the little one. This is the new Samsung Galaxy S8. The only problem, do you get reasonably good battery life? My battery life's kind of
No,
That's okay?
So far.
Okay, so she gets pretty good battery life. The problem between Android, between me and you, is the battery life's just kind of I got battery life issues on Samsungs, but the thing about iCloud is it locks you into Apple. And a lot of you probably have iPhones and iPads and Windows computers. You may have Apple computers as well, but the cool thing is Google Photos is the only truly cross-platform photo software that exists. Also, it is the only app I've ever seen that is rated 5 stars. Perfect. 5 stars in the App Store. I'm going to show you that in a second. There's not a negative review on it. The app is updated about twice a week, just to give you an idea with how often the app is updated. What Google Photos is going to do is it's going to automatically back up everything on your iPhone, your iPad, your Android, any of those other devices like that. What I want to make sure, this class has 3 parts. The first part is understanding what a backup is. Do we all get the concept of what is a backup? Any questions on what is a backup? Or we get it. Backup stays in a single location. The next part that we're going into now is how to get Google Photos on your phone or your tablet. The nice thing is, any day other than Gehringer, if you come by, we will help you set up Google Photos on your device. If you come by on Gehringer, we're not going to be here, so don't even come by, but don't come by on Gehringer. That's the simplest answer, because Gehringer, there's no connection. I can't download Google Photos. I can't do anything. We know 2 days a year, it's a guarantee we have no connection. This is the 2 days that this ships in Gehringer, and it's wonderful, because nobody here from the office, and everybody just goes out and has a nice time in Gehringer. So I'm going on the rigid inflatable boat myself. I'm going to go have some hot chocolate, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day. But we will download Google Photos for you now. How many of you are from the UK? I know you're from the UK. Okay. If you are from the UK, it is imperative that before you leave the ship, you don't have to do it today, before you leave the ship, we need to download Google Photos for you because there's an important feature in Google Photos that will not work in the UK unless we do it for you. I don't mind doing it for you. I'll explain to you what that feature is in a little bit, but I want to give you the concept. So how do we download Google Photos? If you have an Android device, it is likely that Google Photos is pre-installed on your device. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, though, what you need to do is you need to go to the App Store. You don't need to do this now. I just want to give you the concept. And it's all written right here on this nice sheet. We go to the App Store, and we're going to search for Google Photos. Here's the important thing. The first thing that shows up when you search Google Photos will probably not be Google Photos. Apple has started adding ads to the App Store. It does clearly say ad, but just be very aware that that's an ad. Usually the second thing is Google Photos. Sometimes what's interesting is the ad is actually for Google Photos, which doesn't need any advertising. The problem is Google Photos was generally used by nerds, and it still is generally used by nerds because they're not really pushing it to normal people. But you'll see this current version has 2,068 ratings, and they are a perfect 5 stars. I've never, look, you can see. I'd have to zoom in a little bit. That's a perfect 5-star. If you gave it 4 stars, I don't really know what's wrong with you. I'm going to show you what this application does, and you're going to be like, wow, this is cool. So we're going to download Google Photos on your iPhone or your iPad. You're going to need your Apple password or your fingerprint to download it. And then once you open it, it's going to ask you, it's going to say, welcome to Google Photos. Now you don't need to watch all this because I'm going to show you everything that's going on here, but it's going to say all your photos backed up safely, organized and labeled automatically so you can find them fast. Now here's the thing, a lot of you are thinking, sounds too good to be true. This is what's so cool. It is not. I've been using it for the past 3 years as my main photo source. Then we're going to say get started, and Google Photos is going to ask a very dumb question. Can Google Photos back up your photos? Yeah. Well, actually, it's asking, not can it back up, that's the second dumb question. Can Google Photos access your photos?
Yes.
Obviously, yes. Do you know why they need to ask that? Lawyers. Lawyers, they have to ask that because lawyers say you have to ask that because they go, you never gave permission for Google to access your photos. So we go in and it's going to say, can Google Photos send you notifications? And you can say again,
Yes.
sure. It's not going to go crazy. It's not going to be like CNN and tell you every time someone dies. My God, if you have CNN, it's crazy. Yeah.
You must allow them.
You don't. You don't have to allow them. It's not a requirement. But it will, like I'll give you an example. There was a new feature added to Google Photos about 2 months ago that automatically rotated your pictures. So if your pictures were upside down, it would go in and automatically rotate your pictures based on the facial recognition. It made a pop-up with the notification that said, hey, we found 400 pictures that weren't rotated correctly. We've gone ahead and auto-rotated them. Open the app to allow it. If you're going to go in the app a lot, you don't need the notifications. Does that make sense? That's the concept. It's not going to bother you. It's not going to go over the edge. Now the next thing comes to, it's going to ask us to sign in with our Google account. How many of us have a Google account already? A Gmail account, a Google account, anything like that? So you're going to sign in with your Gmail account. If you don't yet have one, you can create one. We can try and help you the best we can to create one, but Google accounts are very secure and sometimes you need to get a text message in order to set up, and it's very secure. The only thing is if you're from the UK, we have to get you set up with one because you have a Gmail account, right? Oh, you have a, no. We'll get you a Gmail account. We'll talk about that. Gmail account already? Okay. Where's my other UK people? You have a Gmail account already, UK people? Okay. So what we need to do is we need to trick it that you're signing up in the US. We'll take care of that. We'll get you going before the end of the cruise. Me and my sister are good. Me and my assistant are good. So we sign in with our Google account, and we're going to need our Google password. So our Gmail password will be right there. And then it's going to say, do you want to back up and sync all of your photos and videos to this account? And you say, okay, back up and sync. Now here's the first question that's not a dumb question. Do you want to use cellular data to back up and sync all of your photos and videos to this account?
No. Yeah, no.
No. Well, it depends. That's a quick answer. If you have unlimited data with your cellular provider, my expression is, watch it burn. I used my T-Mobile. I have T-Mobile, and they gave me free data roaming in Europe. And I backed up 173 gigs of photos on cellular data last year in Europe, last summer. Now, if any of you did that with your phone on roaming, you would have to mortgage this ship, to give you an idea. The problem is most of T-Mobile's customers will never leave the United States. Therefore, it's a pretty safe bet for them to eat that. But so, do we want to use cellular data to back up? Generally, the answer is no. you're not going to get asked that question if your iPad only has Wi-Fi. So if your iPad only has Wi-Fi,
Simple.
simple. Now here comes the next question. That's a hard question. It's all outlined on your sheet of paper. What size would you like to upload the photos and videos? Do you want to upload them in high quality or original? Now, the right answer is high quality, but how do I know that? Well, there's a document that says get help deciding, and it's going to help you figure out exactly what to do. What high quality limits you to is it takes your pictures and limits them to 16 megapixels. Now, your phone does not shoot at 16 megapixels. Your phone shoots at 12 megapixels. If you have an iPhone, even if you have a newest Samsung phone, all the newer phones out there, they only shoot at up to 12 megapixels. No, not 8. No, it's 12 now.
Okay.
12 is the standard. So 12 megapixels, so a 16 is going to do you nothing, and that's fine. It's 16, so it's going to upload those in full quality, and it's going to upload video up to full HD. So if you take a 4K video, it's going to crunch it down to full HD. What if you have a picture that's 20 megapixels, let's say? It's going to crunch it down to 16 megapixels. Essentially, if you want to preserve the quality of your pictures, and you're taking them with a big sexy camera, this should be your 4th backup, not your 3rd backup. Does that make sense? Yeah. You should keep 3 at the full quality. Now, one of the really cool things is Google made their own new phone called the Google Pixel, and one of the benefits of the Google Pixel is you can back up everything in the Google Pixel in original quality for free. That's one of their benefits over Samsung and iPhone, is that they're trying to do that. But the right answer is high quality. Now, just to test that high quality is the right answer, I took a panorama. I think I took it in Barbados. Took a panorama in Barbados, took the panorama, uploaded it to Google Photos, re-downloaded it, and then took the panorama directly off the phone, and brought them both to Costco, printed them in 20 by 30, the biggest poster prints that Costco will make. You've all been to Costco, we know they can print at Costco. Biggest poster prints that Costco will make, nobody can tell the difference. So I asked my mom, I asked all that. Now here's what I need you to know. When I hit continue, I've chosen high quality. When I hit continue, this iPad that's on the screen right now is my work iPad. It is completely empty. So it's completely empty. But what's cool is when I hit continue, right now, all of my photos from across all of my devices are downloading to this iPad. Remember the 2 pictures I took in the theater? Those are done. When I went to IKEA, I had my meatballs the other day, those are done. Now you'll notice it's a little bit fuzzy, but you'll see in a couple seconds it clears up. So this is actually streaming my photos, but these photos are not public. They are my photos, if that makes sense. So I can click on any picture. So that was lunch. But if I wanted breakfast, it's still loading the photos down. Now, it is streaming the photos down from Google Photos. It's not downloading them. It's not taking up additional space on your device. It's actually streaming them. Here's breakfast. And you'll see it'll be fuzzy. And you give it a couple seconds. And it'll just go, come on, catch up. It's gonna clear up in a few seconds, but it'll clear up in a couple seconds because it's trying to stream, it's trying to load all these pictures. I'm loading these pictures for the first time right now. I think that might be as good as that. I didn't take a good picture. I think that's very rare that I don't take a good picture. But it's actually because that's the last one loading there. But in a few seconds it should clear up and it will give me my mushrooms and my eggs and my bacon and oh, so good. But I can go in. Now, that picture, I will be completely honest with you, that picture was not taken. There we go. I did not take that picture on my iPhone. I took that picture on my Samsung phone. If I was using iCloud, could I access those pictures on my iPad? If I was using iCloud, could I put a picture from my Windows computer and access it on my iPhone, on my iCloud, on my iPad? Here's the great thing. This is why Google Photos is better than iCloud. Number 1, it doesn't cost anything. It's a free piece of software. Number 2, it is cross-platform, meaning it will work across everything. So it'll work across everything. Now, the way Google Photos works is your newest pictures will be at the top. Your newest pictures and videos at the top. Your oldest ones are at the bottom. What if you want, like Apple, you know, if you have Apple, your oldest ones are at the bottom and your newest ones are at the top. What if you want to switch it? Tough. Your newest pictures are at the top. That's a tough answer. Your newest pictures are at the top. Your oldest pictures and video are at the bottom. It is going to upload everything that is in your camera roll of your device. So everything that's in the camera roll of your iPhone or your iPad, it will go ahead and it will upload. Now that will also include, I need to dig in my bag. I only keep adapters for everything in here. Let's see where that will include if you have this adapter, which you can take your pictures from your SD card and put them in your iPhone or iPad. That goes into your camera library. So those will back up as well, just to give you a simple concept. Now to understand, this iPad right here is essentially completely empty. But now I have access to all of my photos. Now I haven't been in Norway in years. Well, since last year, I haven't been there in a year. B-E-R-G-E-N. And if I type in Bergen, it's automatically going to find the pictures in Bergen, Norway. So it's looking through all of my information to find that. I actually need to type in Bergen, Norway, because there's... But it will go in and it will find all of the pictures in Bergen, Norway. This is from across all of my devices.
Wow.
Yep.
So when you said it downloads from your photo library, if you have a chip in there that you're putting your pictures on.
You have an
your
Android phone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, if you have an Android phone, it will define, it'll ask you if you want to back up folders when it identifies new folders. So if it identifies a DCIM folder on your chip, it's going to say, hey, we found a new folder on your chip. That's what it'll do in a notification. Do you want to back up that folder on your chip? So that's what's really cool. So I've gone ahead and I've searched, and these are all of, now understand, this is not a Google search. I did not do a Google photo search. These are only pictures that I have taken myself that are in my personal photo library. This iPad was empty 3 minutes ago. That makes sense. This iPad was completely empty 3 minutes ago. Now what I want to show you now is I want to show you on my iPhone. Now here's the thing. I don't take pictures with my iPad, because if you take pictures with a 12-inch iPad, could you imagine? I was watching this video of, it was like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it was a video from 1992, and they were showing it next to a video of people watching the Red Hot Chili Peppers today. If you look at the Red Hot Chili Peppers video today, it's everybody's holding their phones and tablets up. In 1992, nobody had mobile phones or tablets or mobile video cameras or anything. They didn't have cameras, let's be completely honest. Cameras, you couldn't get a good picture in low light in 1992. You really just, you couldn't. If you were in a venue or a concert, it would have been different. Now, hey, I was born in '87, so I'm talking about when I was 5 years old, so let's be honest. But it's very, very interesting, and you'll see that it even does video as well. So it's going to back up all your pictures and all of your video. But what I want to show you, I showed you setting it up from scratch, but now I want to show you how I use it every single day. So if I take this, and I put this up on my screen, catch up. It'll catch up in a second. Let's try that again. Oh, just because I was not patient. So you'll notice that if you look at the bottom of your iPhones or your iPads or anything like that, you probably have on this screen on the bottom, you got the telephone, you got the text messaging, you got the Safari, you got the mail. Do you notice I don't have any of that there? I got Google Photos right there. So this is my Google Photos library. And what I have is I have all of my pictures, including those last 3 I took right there. Now, what's going on with these pictures is right now you'll notice that these have a little recycling sign on them. You see that? Now, you'll also notice that those were blank until a few seconds ago, because those were taken on my Samsung phone, so those weren't native. So anything that's on your camera roll is going to show up instantly, because it's just referencing the camera roll. But as it's uploading those, what it does, this is an update that came out in Google Photos about 2 weeks ago. It uploads a low-quality image first to make sure everything is backed up in a quality that you can view it on the screen, and then goes back and uploads the high-quality image later. So you always have at least a minimal quality backup of everything. That's what's really cool. You always have at least a minimal quality backup of everything, and in a couple seconds' time, you're good. There we go, that one's done. And then these will be done in a few seconds' time. Your question? You had a question?
Yeah, you have a number of, let's say, 500 pictures on your laptop at home.
Yep. Okay, so that's part number 3. So I want to stick to phones and tablets. We're going to go to laptops as soon as we understand phones and tablets. Trust me, I'm covering laptop. Yep.
So if you have Google Photos, but then on your iPhone you also have the photo. Does it actually access the same data?
Yes, it is accessing the Photos database. What you'll notice in iOS 10, they actually allowed you, if you wanted to delete certain built-in apps. Like you can delete the calendar if you had a better calendar you wanted to use. You could even delete Safari. You could delete Safari. You could delete notes. You could delete things like that. Photos is a system service. That's where your camera roll is stored. So on a Samsung phone, you can have Google Photos, but you also have to have Gallery, because that's the system service of where it's stored. Now, the pictures that are on my phone, these pictures, are just being referenced from my Google Photos libraries. They're being from my Apple Photos library. They're being referenced. So I want to be very clear. It is going to take a long time to upload all of your photos and videos to Google Photos. It's going to take a long time. I'm talking about weeks to upload everything. For every 1,000 pictures you have on your device, it will take at least a day to give it for every 1,000 pictures, and that's land-based. It'll take you at least a day because upload and download are not the same thing. Your download speed is significantly faster than your upload speed. I was walking through the crew corridor, the I-95 the other night, and this girl goes, why didn't you tell me that you're telling everybody that my country has the fastest internet? Do you know what country has the fastest internet in the world? Romania. Romania has the fastest, cheapest internet in the world. You can get internet, mobile phone, and TV for the equivalent of $10 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. What do you pay for your internet, your mobile phone, or your TV?
Yeah.
Hundreds. They pay $10 a month because it's all government controlled, and it's all the prices are fixed. Tax dollars go to it, and stuff like that. But you're only paying $10 a month for it, which is what's really cool. But that's just because their upload speed is the same speed as their download speed. Now on the ship, the upload speed's pretty high for uploading to Facebook and stuff like that. But Google Photos, I restrict a little bit because we don't want everybody uploading to Google Photos after this class because it would break the internet for everybody else. So remember, it's going to back up. So it's going to back up in order. All of your photos from oldest to newest first. When it finishes your photos, then it's going to back up your special photos, which are burst photos, panoramas, square photos, things like that. And then last, videos. But here's where it gets really cool, and this is part of the movie I showed earlier today. Okay, I've backed all this up, but now the problem is I've run out of space on my iPhone. Or I've run out of space on my iPad. I've run out of space on all these different ones. I'll give you an example. I love my Samsung phone. The problem is it only has 64 gigs of storage on it. Yes, you can put an SD card, but you can only put certain things on those SD cards. So, I would love to have a 256 gig, but this is all I can go ahead and get. So, the concept is on either iPhones or Samsungs, what you could do is the file menu is these three little bars in the upper left-hand corner. You see those three little bars in the upper left-hand corner? If I click that, there's a button that says Free Up Space. So I've got Free Up Space. This is all on your sheet right here. If I hit Free Up Space, it's going to find items that are already backed up. And I want to read you exactly what this says. Remove 6,711 items. Question mark. I'm going to read you this, and I'm going to add a sentence at the end that's not on the screen here. I want to be very clear with this. These photos and videos have already been safely backed up to your Google Photos library at the quality you've selected, which is
HD.
high quality. Let's make sure. High quality, not original.
No, HD.
Yep. You'll be able to view them here at any time as long as you're connected to some form of internet connection. That can be Wi-Fi, that can be cellular. I'm just saying, once you remove them from your device, they're no longer referencing that photos library. So they're no longer referencing that library once you remove them from the device. So on an iPhone or an iPad, if I wanted to remove them, I go ahead and I hit remove. And what it's going to do is it's going to process, and it's going to say, do you want to remove 6,935 items? Well, wait, that's more items than it said it was originally going to remove. Because there's bursts in there as well. So those bursts are, I've held down and I've taken down a couple bursts. They're going to be, some of the items will also be deleted from 11 albums. If you hit delete, which I'm not going to do right now, it is going to put those photos and videos in the trash of your Photos app. Google Photos cannot directly and immediately trash photos on iPhone and iPad. It can immediately trash photos on Android. So I'm just letting you know there's no second step on Android, but on iPhone and iPad, once you do this, I'm not going to allow it, once you do this, then you have to go into the Photos app right here, and then you have to scroll down to where it says Recently Deleted. And then you'll see this one has 27 days. So if you need to free up the space, not only do you need to delete from Google Photos, but then you need to go to Recently Deleted, and Recently Deleted will figure it out as well. And when I hit here, I hit Select, I say Delete All, and boom, done. I've got those all recently deleted. Yes?
If I saw that message, I would panic.
Yes.
I'd say no.
That's why I'm having this discussion with you. Is if you saw that message, I want you to know that that message is okay. That's what.
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to know.
I just want to.
Yeah, please. Yes.
So once you have this app, and you know that everything has been uploaded.
Only clear it. I want to be very clear. You follow these directions. You only hit this, and you hit free up space. If you delete from your Photos app, the Apple Photos app, it's not going to make sure they've already been uploaded to Google Photos. Here's what's interesting. This is a problem on an Apple phone that Apple hasn't solved, but Google has. You there? Because you know in iCloud, yeah, you can back up your photos to the iCloud, but you can't dump your photos off your phone and verify that they've already been uploaded to the iCloud and all that, can you?
No.
You can't do all that. So I think that's what's interesting, is this solves a big problem that's had on the iPhones and the iPads. Just to give you that concept, yeah.
Presumably, if you remove that, but you have another backup somewhere sitting on another hard drive, so that if you think you've gone wrong, you've actually still got another backup.
Yes, so that's what we're going to get to in a minute's time. So what I want to make sure is that we understand how, so we know what a backup is. That's part number one. Part number two is how we back it up from phones and tablets. Hard drives, computers, all that stuff is part number three. So we've got part number one and part number two. Do we understand the phones and tablets function? Yes.
Okay.
I'm
I
listening.
will have to join Google Photos on
Yep.
my iPhone, on my iPad,
On everything,
on
yeah.
everything. But I can't do it on a Windows phone, I'm sorry.
Ah,
a
that's where we're
Windows
going right
on-
now. That's where we're going right now.
All right.
So I want to make sure phones and tablets make sense. We're going to computers, Windows and Mac. That's the next step in this process.
Okay.
It's a very calculated process that I've created. Yeah.
Why would Google want to back up something that's already backed up?
Well, where are you saying it's already backed up? I guess
Because
that's...
you said you want to remove your photos already backed up, so.
Right. It's saying, do you want to remove the photos from your device that have already been backed up to
From your
Google
device.
Photos? Does that make sense now? I wanted to get the
Okay, from your
semantics correct.
device.
Yes, from your device that have already been backed up to Google Photos. Yeah.
So presumably, if you delete it from your phone because it's already been backed up, it means that if you want to go and show people what photos you are, if you haven't got the internet,
Then you can't show them the
But
photos.
At least
Correct.
it's somewhere else. And if you have
At least it's somewhere else.
then you
Yes.
can just- okay.
And you can just log online and you show it. Because here's the thing. I'm not saying you need Wi-Fi to do this. You can do this on cellular data if you wanted to. If you're out and about, you can type in any of these searches and do it on cellular data. Now, what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you how to upload it from a computer, and then we're going to play with a library that's already filled with my pictures. That's what we're going to do in a couple seconds' time, so to give you the idea. So I'm going to pass this back to this gentleman back here who's wearing the orange bomber jacket. It's a big jacket. And we're going to go ahead, and what I want you to do is on the computer that's in front of you, watch out.
I don't do well with that, Steve.
Here,
Okay.
that's it. Thank you.
We do have some small stools and we have some larger stools. Do you know why we have the small stools? They came first. They were stool samples. Oh. Okay. So on the computer that's in front of you, unless you have a computer I've given you, which is you, and you, everybody else is going to click on the thing that says Google Photos on the computer that's in front of them. There's a little yellow tennis ball and it says Google Photos. I'm going to give you the password. Shake your mouse. Shake your mouse, shake your mouse.
I ended up as administrator. I must have hit something incorrectly.
You're okay?
Am I
And
okay?
somebody doesn't have a mouse pad. That's okay. Where's the person without a mouse pad here? Me. Oh, no. There's a person. Why'd you close it? I already had it open for you.
I just wanted to start from scratch.
Yeah, but I want to go ahead. No, you're not starting from scratch. I had this set up. So the password for Google Photos is I love Google. My password for the computer. So click on Google Photos. One word, I love Google.
All those
Okay,
days.
so,
Click with this here.
Yeah.
That's not a touch screen.
What is it? I love
I'll
you.
get you here. I passed it back. Here we go. That's it. No, all lowercase, one word, I love Google. Where's my, is your paper working good as a mouse? That's okay? Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure because I had another way to do it. It is not a touch screen. These are iMacs. They're not touch screens. Do not touch anything else. It's going to do the rest for you in a couple seconds, and we're going to see something pop up on your screen that's going to be blue. And it's going to say, go to Google Photos. Her computer's a little bit different. I love Google, one word.
I'll sign it.
I'm not connected with the
Huh?
internet.
Let me help. No, you'll be okay in a second. Yep, you can hit go to Google Photos, which is the blue button. That's okay. Okay.
Not case sensitive, right?
Ah, you're still plugged in. I thought I checked that everybody wasn't plugged in. Now you can go ahead and sign in. My password's already saved there, so just go ahead and say sign in. Like I say, this only works during my class. You'll get there in just a few seconds' time. And how we know we're successful, I'm going to come help a couple people. How we know we're successful is we'll see something like this on our screen. You're seeing that because you plugged in your
Oh,
Your
I'm
phone.
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'm still.
Okay, give me a second.
It's just a little bit slow.
It's just because everybody's getting it. It's not actually internet-based. It's the fact that Google does not like that we're signing into my account from 23 computers, 24, 25 computers at the same time. I had to disable. It's coming. It'll come.
It's coming.
Let me go ahead. One word. I love Google. If you are at near where my screen is, leave your device alone. It's okay. It'll load in a couple seconds time. We'll get there.
Reluctant.
It will get there. So, I'm going to get everybody caught up. Don't go scrolling, because if you scroll, you never know what you're going to find. Just so you know, right now, you are actually in my photo library. I want to be very clear. These are my actual photos. Hers is coming up. It's just going to take a couple seconds because some of your machines were a little stranger than others. I'm going to make sure everybody's caught up. Hit sign in.
She did.
Don't scroll down. I want everybody to be up right near the top.
Took me.
I will get you.
No, just that.
You know how to do all this stuff, don't you?
It'll start loading first.
Give it just a few seconds time. Do what it needs to do.
Richard, you live a very interesting life.
I live a very interesting life. IKEA meatballs and classes. And the interesting one will be. I'll get you there. I'll get you there. Okay. Do we have it? We're except for this lady right here. Sure, hers is still loading. Just get sign in. I want everybody to be in. We all have to get in at about the same time for it to. We need to hit. Go to Google Photos. Okay. Hers is going to be super quick because now the factors are gone there. Okay. So do you see the oh, just look at that. Just as I gave up. This is the way the world works. Okay. So don't scroll down. I want you to be at the top of the screen. Do you see the big R in the upper right-hand corner?
Yes.
Sign in there. Do you see the 3 bars in the upper left-hand corner?
Yes.
At no point in the class are we to go above the R and the 3 bars. What I mean by that, we're not clicking any favorite places. We're not doing anything like that on the screen. Does that make sense to everybody? So we're not leaving this very simple window. You are good. We are in. This is good. Okay. So we're almost in. All right. So I believe we can all see, we might not see all the pictures yet, but we should all see these 3 bars in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Do you see those 3 bars?
Yes.
Right here. Upper left-hand corner, right next to where it says Google Photos. Click on those 3 bars right there. And you're going to click.
Because I'm left-handed.
Oh, I'm left-handed too. Don't feel bad. There, I'll get you a lot more slack. It's a bit more slack. Click on those 3 bars right there in the upper left-hand corner, and you'll see where it says App Downloads. You see where it says App Downloads? Click on App Downloads. Now on your sheet, if you flip to the back of that sheet of paper I gave you, where you are right now.
Right here.
You are?
Richard,
Yep.
is this a touch?
It is not a touch
No,
screen.
no, no, we have to.
Will you two swap? You give her the touch screen, you take the computer. There we go. That's a touch screen.
Yeah, I'm used to touch.
That's fine. If you're used to a touch screen, you can use the laptop. It's fine. Okay. So, what the website you're on right now is photos.google.com. Now, you can either type in photos.google.com or you can Google Photos. Or you can Google Photos. Now, do you see that? Now, I don't want you to click it. Do you see that big white button that says download?
Yep.
On your computer at home, be it a Windows or a Mac computer, I think that covers everybody. Not now, don't click it now because weird things will happen, but on your computer at home, you will hit that little button that says download. That will then download something called the Google Photos Uploader. What the Google Photos Uploader does is it uploads your hard drives and your computer and your C drive and everything to Google Photos. I'm going to show you, we see how we get that button, correct?
Right.
I'm going to show you what to do once you have that button back up on my screen, and then we're going to be back on your computers in about 3-4 minutes time for the remainder of the class. Once you download, watch my screen, once you download the Google Photos app, it's called the Google Photos Uploader, and it's going to say, welcome to Google Photos. Automatically back up your photos and videos from your computer, including hard drives and memory cards, which is the question that everybody asked me a couple minutes ago that I said I was going to get to. So I'm going to say continue. You don't need to follow along with this right now. You'll do this on your computer at home, and I'm going to sign in with my Google account, which is richard@gotrichard.com. Boom-ba-doom-ba-doom, and my password. And I hit sign in. And I have, yep.
By the way, when we're doing this at home,
Uh-huh.
is this something you can just start working and get it going?
Yes.
And then go to bed for the
Yes.
night?
You don't have to do anything after we set this up. You're going to go to bed for multiple nights before your photos back up. I'm going to tell you the longest one that's ever taken is someone put it on our January 22nd cruise, and it finished last week. They sent me an email because they had 200,000 photos in their hard drive. I have 500,000, but that's over multiple years. But my first upload took 3 or 4 months, to give you an idea there. Yes?
So can you do this in stages, or?
Yes.
can you
So
pause
why
it?
I show this mobile first, because that's likely where most of your pictures are right now, is on your mobile devices. This is me not knowing my password or something like that. There was a problem with me logging into my own Google Photos account. Let's try this again. Richard. Okay. Next. Come on. Get my password in there. Get my password in there. Okay. And my password. I love that you're all signed into my Google account and I'm not. That makes me feel extra special. But I sign in, and when I sign in, I'm going to have this thing called patience. It's something I don't have as a man very often. But when I sign in, Google Photos is going to ask me an interesting question. I'll show you this question as soon as it comes up, but it's going to say, hey, where are your photos? That's why you asked in stages and different things like that. It's going to say, hey, where are your photos? Google may not like me right at this minute. Let's say, hey, where are your photos? And what's the answer to most of us? Where are your photos on your computer?
Hard drive.
They're in what we call a fuster cluck.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. I knew that.
A fuster cluck.
What?
Reverse the first 2 letters. There we go.
Yeah.
They're an absolute mess of your photos. My Google Photos is being a little stupid with me. Let me try and actually get my Google Photos to want to
But you know,
sign.
it's making the rest of us feel so much better.
Yeah, my photos are a mess. So let me go ahead. It does not want. Richard,
Yes, mine too. I've never heard of this.
you've never heard of that? That's a safe way to say the other thing.
Yes.
I learned that years ago. Some people sit in the audience and go, what are you talking about? Okay, so it's then going to say, where are your pictures? Now, on a Windows computer, your pictures are likely in your My Pictures folder. On a Mac computer, your pictures are likely in the cloud or in iPhoto or in the Photos app or anything like that. What I did is I made the mistake of signing out of my Google Photos on this computer,
Richard.
and I don't think the security's like me. I want to show you exactly how this works. Let me just get this real quick up on the screen. Where's my Google Photos? I'm listening.
If you put everything in iCloud,
Uh-huh.
can I just take them all out of iCloud? and
Yes,
put them
the
into
things
Google
that are in
Photos?
iCloud are going to go, they're in your iPhotos library. I'm going to show you this. This computer doesn't want to behave, but the good news is I have multiple computers. So this computer will behave. So it's then going to ask us, here we go. It's going to say, where are your pictures? Once you sign in, where are your pictures? So for us Apple people, they're in our Apple Photos library or in iPhoto. For our Windows people, they're probably in your C drive. Yeah.
Or the previous to
iPhoto. iPhoto. Aperture? What do you have them in? There was only iPhoto, Apple Photos, and Aperture. Those are the only 3 photo programs that Apple's ever had that I know of. But here's the thing. It's going to automatically find the things that are in your Pictures folder, meaning the Pictures folder that's in your device. So we've automatically found things in the Pictures folder. If you're a Windows user, it's probably in My Pictures. It will find folders in folders in folders in folders in folders in folders in folders. It will also ignore duplicate photos. This is not going to clean up your duplicates, okay? That's another program for another time.
By name.
No, it actually does it by name and by data. So it does it by name and by data. So it actually analyzes the data, it analyzes the individual pixels, and does not upload duplicate photos. So that's the cool thing. You define it. If you need to add a new location like a hard drive, if you have a hard drive or something like that, you just hit add folder, and then you add a new location there. Yeah?
When I switch from Windows to Mac,
Uh-huh.
I copied a folder,
Yep.
a photo folder, and I dumped it in somewhere. I'm not sure where I dumped
Yep.
it, but it's not an iPhotos, whatever it is.
Picasa?
No, I just put it in a normal
Folder, yeah.
folder.
Yep.
So if I just
You just
select it,
define that folder,
Can
yes.
I select a high level and then just let it?
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
it?
it's, I said it does folders and folders and folders and folders. The one thing you don't want to select is you don't want to select your entire C drive.
No.
I say that seriously because someone did that, and here's what happened. It uploaded all the little Internet Explorer icons and everything like that, and you're like, oh God, I don't need that stuff on my phone. So you're like, no. Yeah.
So, my husband has a Mac,
Yeah?
and our photos are not all on my
iPhone and iPad.
iPad.
Yep.
Not,
But they're on your Mac, correct?
They're on his computer.
Yep.
So the
You sign in?
the hard drive.
Yep.
I can sign in
On his computer, and it'll do it as well.
and upload
Yes.
them from the hard drive.
Yes, and here's where this gets
Excellent.
really cool as well. If you have an SD card, this program, I'll show you, will automatically, if you choose it to, when you plug in a memory card, it will automatically upload those pictures from the memory card to Google Photos. And, let's take it one step further, put them on your computer, and plugged into your computer you have a hard drive. So just by plugging it in, guess what you get? You get your 322 backup, which is what's really cool. Now I'm going to talk to two people in this room real quick. I don't know who these two people are. If you do shoot with a DSLR and you do shoot in RAW, is anybody following me here? If you're not following, this isn't for you. You want to shoot in RAW plus JPEG, and it'll ignore the RAW and automatically upload the JPEG. You make an additional backup of your RAW. To those of you that need it to make sense to, did it make sense to you?
No.
If it didn't need to, if you don't know what a RAW photo is, it wasn't designed to make sense to you. Because it will allow you to upload RAW photos, but it will only allow you to upload RAW in original quality. So we go ahead and we define that, and it's going to upload all the pictures that are on our computer. On a Mac computer, it's going to live up near the time in the upper right-hand corner. On a Windows computer, it's going to live down near the time in the bottom right-hand corner. Does that make sense to all of us?
No.
Yes, let's go ahead.
I've got some photos on memory sticks.
Yeah.
If I plug the memory stick into my laptop,
Yep.
and then just ask it to take from the
Yep.
memory stick, it'll take it.
It will do that. It will also, let's say, let me give you an example. Let me tell you what happened last cruise. Someone went out in Nassau and went swimming with some dolphins, and they didn't have a computer or a phone or anything. They signed into their Google Photos here, put the memory stick in the back, and there's actually on the Google Photos website, you can upload. This is the quick way to upload. So if you do it on the Google Photos website, every time you want to upload, you got to go, you got to hit upload. If you do it on here, like you were saying, you do it piecemeal, and it'll automatically upload every time that that's connected. So every time it's connected, it'll auto-upload, which is what's really cool. Does,
If you've taken a photo and then edited but kept the original,
it will put both of them on there because they are unique photos. So they're unique photos. Now, we can do edits in Google Photos, which is what we're going to take a look at in a couple minutes' time. But I want to make sure we get part 1, 2, and 3 because part 4 is fun. Yeah.
Okay, so with the iCloud,
Yep.
my Mac devices just automatically upload. Do I have to
Google
sign-
Photos will do the exact
They
same
just
thing.
automatically
Your devices will automatically upload. It is crazy, and here's the thing. It will automatically upload across multiple different types of devices, which is really cool. And it will automatically upload unlimited for free. Now, here's the thing. The first hour that we essentially did this class, we talked about how to get your photos up from all your devices. I want to make sure we know how to get your photos up from all your devices, because now the last half hour is, okay, we've got them up. What do we do with it now? And this is where things start to get really awesome, okay? So imagine with me for a second, now you have all of your photos up in Google, and you can access them from any device. But here's the question, how did I find the photo of Bergen? How do I find all these different photos? If I didn't make folders, if I didn't have it nice and organized, how do I find them all? Here's the cool thing. Google searches, sorts, and organizes your photos for you. And I was thinking of a way to demonstrate this class for so many years, and I said the only way people are ever going to understand how this works is if they have a hands-on and they understand exactly what's going on. So what I want to do is I'm giving you access right now for the next half an hour to my 500,000 pictures, and we're going to be able to search through them. I am the only person brave enough to do this because I know exactly what I'm doing. I have a friend of mine. His name is David. He's an iLaunch manager as well. I go, David, you're going to teach a Google Photos class? He goes, yeah, but I'm not going to let people go hands-on. I go, why, David? He goes, because boobies. I go, what? He's like, I have too many pictures without the boobies. I'm like, okay. So, now it's time to get going into the meat and potatoes of the Google Photos class. Do you see where it says app downloads in the upper left-hand corner?
Yes.
You're going to see that white arrow to the left of app downloads. Go ahead and hit on that white arrow to the left of app downloads. Now, if you think of Google as a... Yeah, click that white arrow. If you think of Google as a company, you have to define what they do in one word. What is the one word to define what Google does? Search. Track you. Okay, let's have a little 5-second discussion. Your cell phone company tracks you significantly more than Google does, and that's the main reason that Verizon is buying AOL and Yahoo. I'm done. Okay, so trust me, you shouldn't be afraid of Google. You should be much more afraid of your cell phone company and significantly more afraid of your government. But, yes.
Well, your Google account, presumably all the privacy settings are there anyway, so none of your photos...
Correct. This is private. This is private. It's encrypted. But you'll notice at the top of the screen, we have a search box. Remember, at no point in this class are we to go above the R. Does that make sense? We never go above the R, because it's going to take us into a real Google search if we go above the R.
Yeah.
You see that search box? It's actually recommending a search for you. Google's goal, this is going to sound really weird, but Google's goal as a company is to know what you want to search for before you even know you want to search for it. So I'm going to ask you a weird question. Does anybody's search box up there say anything about Norway?
No.
Okay, good. I was just checking if they're getting that creepy. Bergen? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Google knows Bergen already. That's scary. But we click on that search box. Click on the search box that says search and then something. We can click on that search box. And it's going to take a couple seconds, but if we click on the search box right on the top, right next to the word Google Photos, we've got a search box. Click on that search box, and it's going to define some searches we can possibly do. Now we're going to click on that.
Maybe that's what remembers on the computer.
So it's going to define some searches that we can possibly search. You'll see 3 search suggestions. We're not going to search any of them right now, but you'll see 3 search suggestions. Yeah, never go above the R. There we go. That's where we want to be. So we've got our search box right here, and it's saying Christmas, graduation, birthday. I can get all of these different searches to give you an idea of what is going on there. But here's the thing, that this is the reason I need to see all UK people's devices before they leave the ship. The United Kingdom does not allow internet-based facial recognition. So we're going to talk about facial recognition. If you're from the US, if you're from Canada, if you're from Australia, it'll work fine. The UK won't allow it. I'm very specific how I say this. I did not say it carefully enough last cruise. They won't allow it due to online child pornography laws. I'm not saying that those laws are bad. I'm saying that those laws are too far-reaching. And what happens is that they've made an agreement with Google that says, if we can't identify if someone's over 18 years of age, we can't facially ID them, if that makes sense. So they just had to turn off the feature in all of the UK. So I will enable that feature by setting you up in the United States, if that makes sense. There's nothing wrong, there's nothing illegal you're doing. You're just enabling a feature that's not enabled by default in the UK, and it's a really cool feature, so I want to enable it for you. Okay, so you'll see we have these faces right here, right? I want you to click on the arrow to the right of the last face. I'll get you back to where you are. I want you to click on the arrow to the right of the last face, and it's going to show you all of my faces here. Now, a lot of these faces I've gone ahead and I've already named. Give it a couple seconds to catch up. But I've gone ahead and I've already named. Click on the arrow. I want you to follow along to see what's going on. So I already named these people.
Grandma.
There's Grandma. Yeah, that's Vi. This one. That's evil grandma. That's evil grandma. That's evil grandma. Yeah, don't tell her. My mom's still like, I can't believe you posted that. For those of you who don't know what evil grandma is, you'll know later this Chris. So, these are people that I've gone ahead and I've actually gone ahead and named. I want you to scroll down, though, till you see someone that's not named. No, I got you. Leave it right there. So you're going to scroll down till you see someone who's not named, and just go ahead and click on them.
One or all?
Just one of them. Just click on one. It doesn't matter who it is. Now, again, remember, this is my personal photo library. Therefore, we are going to look. We're not going to change anything. Just click on anyone, and it's going to say, who's this? Just pick any person. Do not name them. Any person that's not named, click on it. Yeah, that's okay. Give it a second. And it's going to say, who's this? Well, you've got Brooks. I don't know who that is. If we don't want Brooke, no. If you scroll down a bit, it'll say, who's this? Click on anyone. And that is where you would name your people. Here's the nice thing. In Google Photos, as soon as you do something, let's make this very clear. There is no need to sync. There is no need to save. There is no need to do anything. It is 100% on the cloud. Does that make sense to all of us? 100% on the cloud. So, I'll give you an example. We can type in, you see the search box on the top where it says search your photos?
Right.
Click up there and type in Richard, R-I-C-H-A-R-D. I have no clue what's about to come up. That's my name, R-I-C-H-A-R-D. And it will find all the pictures of Richard. Not only will it find all the pictures of Richard, it will also find all of the albums that Richard is in as well. A lot of these albums were created automatically. Now, my friend in the back, with the husband with the iMac, you asked me a question.
Oh, yeah.
You said, should I allow notifications? Google is automatically going to make albums for you, and if you don't allow notifications, it can't tell you when it's made an album. That's to give you the concept.
Okay.
There's a lot of things it can tell you that are useful. So if you type in Richard, so remember the button, there's a button underneath right here. You're not pressing that button. There's actually a button right there. If you press it. So, yeah, no, right on the top. Yeah, it's underneath. So we'll see. If I type in, and I've got pictures of me. But here's where it gets cool. So when we were looking at the pictures, remember we had the pictures of you, we had the pictures of the meatballs in IKEA, we had the pictures of all of that. And the ice cream. That was a main database. That was my main Google Photos database with a lot of pictures. Hold on. I got you. I'm just gonna skip it. There we go. So that's my main Google Photos database. As soon as I search, what I'm doing is it's not an additive search. It is not finding the pictures I'm in, it's eliminating the pictures I am not in. Does that make sense? So it's eliminating the pictures I'm not in. So if I've defined Richard, not only can I define Richard, but I can get Richard and someone else. So I can type in, now you need to type in the word and. You cannot use the and sign. So you can type in Richard and Leslie, L-E-S-L-I-E. Richard and Leslie. And go ahead and hit the return key after you do that. Richard, A-N-D-L-E-S-L-I-E. Now, not only will it find me and Leslie, but it actually finds me and Leslie over time. Do you see that first picture? That's us as kids. Now, that's actually a picture I scanned in. And what's cool is there's a companion app to Google Photos called PhotoScan, which I'm going to show in our last class on the last day that we have in the theater because I want to show everybody PhotoScan. But it will allow you to actually scan in pictures, real pictures, into Google Photos. But we got Richard and Leslie. So these are just pictures that have in them both Richard and Leslie. Now, I want to give you an example. What we're going to do now is we're going to do an eliminative search. So every picture of Richard and Leslie that's ever existed is right in here. 22 years worth of pictures. Ever since we've been taking digital pictures, they are inside of here. It took me a long time to upload them, but I want to get more eliminative. I want to go Richard and Leslie ship. S-H-I-P.
Add ship or just ship?
No, just ship. That's fine. Believe it or not, the and is just a way to clean it up. You don't really need the and. You could just type in Richard, Leslie, ship. But that's going to show Richard, Leslie, ship. Yeah, that's why. Okay, here we go. So we got Richard and Leslie ship. And again, it's eliminative. It includes all of these different things right here. But if we go ahead and we type in Richard and Leslie ship children.
You want us to do that?
Yep. Hey, I've had 10 minutes of exercise in a dynamic workout, according to my right watch. So I don't have to go to the gym.
No, it's just one.
And it's just one.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. We started out with almost 600,000 pictures, and we got down to one. All we ever did was told Google Photos who Richard and Leslie were.
Wow.
We told it nothing other than that. Yeah.
And none of these are in folders, they're just.
No,
being
there's
written
no
down
folders.
somewhere. Okay.
There's no folders. Google Photos is fully understanding your pictures. You got it? Did we get it?
Yeah.
Richard and Leslie ship children. Richard and Leslie ship children. So, that's fine. Richard and Leslie children will give you, you'll get different pictures depending on exactly what you search for, yeah.
So is it identifying ship because it's recognising that is a ship?
It's recognizing
It's
that's a
not-
ship.
You've not titled anything.
Okay. Other than the names, everything we're about to do was not titled. Okay? Other than the names, and not only that,
It knows the
this
picture.
was not a digital picture. This was a scanned-in picture, just to give you a, an idea. Yeah.
If I want to show this through Apple TV, which,
Yeah. Give us a little bit. We'll get there. What I want to do is I want to show you the searching features, and then we'll talk about the sharing features. Yeah.
When you label the name,
Uh-huh.
like, right,
You label it once, and they have geneticists that
So
work
they can-
for Google Photos,
they
and it
can mix
regresses
it up,
over
yeah.
time.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
You only name them one time. That's what's
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
So it uploads all your pictures.
Mhm.
Say you had something on your phone, you took it, it blurred, you get your finger, whatever
Yeah.
happened, and you don't want it, and you did catch it.
You can delete it. You can hit the little garbage can that I'll show you. I'll show you where the garbage can is in a little bit. But we got Richard and Leslie. The problem is I have two sisters, and if I don't do a search with my other sister, it's a different search. If I don't do a search with my other sister, then the other sister gets really, I didn't use our picture together. You like the other sister better. I'm like, okay. So now we're going to do Richard and Julie. That's my younger sister.
You want ship also?
Nope, get rid of all of it. Just Richard and Julie, Julie. And this is where stuff starts to get even more insane. So, if I search for Richard and Julie, what it's going to do is it's going to find pictures of me and Julie. And others. But let's say I wanted me and Julie in a specific location. So I want you to now type in Richard and Julie, New York. I'll help.
Can you abbreviate it or no?
No, not, you can, but it's going to do weird things here. I'll explain to you.
Was that the answer to the abbreviation question? That'll do weird things or?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, got it.
So what happens is, the reason that I don't do Richard and Julie NYC, Richard and Julie NYC will work, but it will autocorrect on these computers to NYE, New Year's Eve. So
Gotcha.
I don't have to put in New York City. I just type in Richard and Julie, New York. Now here's the question. How does it know? Thoughts?
Location. So
Okay, good question. So your phones have in them
GPS.
GPS. Richard and Julie knew.
Wow.
So your phones have in them GPS. Built into the data, I want to finish these four things and then I'll take questions. Built into the data on that phone's image is your GPS location. Not where it was, but the coordinates. What other piece of software does Google own other than Google Photos? It's called Google Maps.
Maps.
So this ties directly in with Google Maps. Now, let's say you have an iPad. Well, how does the iPad, if the iPad doesn't have GPS on it, how does the iPad actually know your location? Do you know the answer to that? No.
No?
Remember the Street View cars that drove around, the Google Street View cars that they drove around?
Right.
When they drove around those cars, what they actually did is they captured the Wi-Fi information from every place they were driving in front of, whether they can connect or not, and tied that to a GPS coordinate.
Oh.
Now, they got in a lot of trouble for that, and the answer was you have to share that information with everyone else. That was the answer, is you got to share that information with everybody else. So they got in a lot of trouble for doing that, but Apple has access to that, and that's how your iPad knows where you are.
Wow.
The third way it could possibly know is if you have a camera that has GPS on it. So if you have a camera that has GPS on it, you can use that camera, and that camera will find your GPS location, which is like, you know, a camera that has GPS on it, and your camera, no. And then here's the fourth way. This is what's really cool. This is why Google Photos is free. I want to make this statement. This is really cool. This is why Google Photos is free. If you take a picture with your phone, okay, and your phone has a GPS location on it, and I take a picture with my camera, Google can anonymously use your information, your location data, and what's in the background of your picture to add location to my picture. Instead of going out and doing Street View and taking pictures, by providing you free photo storage, we are making Google's artificial intelligence significantly better. So I'm just letting you know what's paying for this, if that makes sense. What's paying for this is the fact that you're giving Google enough data to better understand the world around you. I can tell you that Google has an app that we may talk about later in the course called Google Goggles that you can point something at and it will automatically tell you what that is. This is making that smarter. It does not identify any people. So people are removed from the variables, but your phone has GPS location and things like that. It's making the world a lot smarter. That's what's cool. And let me give one more statement, then I'll take any questions on this. We've all used Google Maps before, right?
Yeah.
If you've used Google Maps before, you know how Google Maps knows how long it's going to take you to get to your location?
Yeah.
Because it's watching everyone in front of you going in that same direction. You've been doing this for years, whether you know it or not. It's those terms and conditions that you accept. You know, do you accept the terms and conditions? Yes. Now, Apple has a similar feature like this that finds locations and stuff like that, but that only works on the device, so it's not nearly as powerful. You can find Richard and Julie in New York, but you cannot find Richard and Julie in New York in the snow. Let's go ahead and type in snow after New York. So we can find Richard and Julie in New York in the snow. And not only will it find pictures, but it will also find video of Richard and Julie. Okay, yeah, type in Richard and Julie in New York snow. And not only will it find pictures, it will also find, you see the first one there? It's actually a video.
It knows snow.
Now, what did you type in there? In the snow. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
So it knows what snow is.
So you can put in different logic and you get different things. I usually type that in. The cool thing is it will identify this
As snow.
as snow.
That's fine.
That's cool. Now, how many of you have dogs of some sort? My mom likes to show off her new puppy. So what's cool is you can even look for dogs based on their breed. I want to let you know, everything we're doing from this point in time is fully automatic. I did not name these photos. I did not do anything. In the search box, I want you to go up and type Duck Toller. Ducktoller.
Richard and Julie Duck Toller?
No, just Duck Toller.
Oh, Duck Toller, okay.
Duck Toller. Ducktoller.
I thought it was a Nova Scotia duck.
It is, but we don't need it. It is a Nova Scotia Duck Toller.
Golden retriever. Yes, it's got a whole golden
Duck Toller.
Yes, a doggy.
That's the doggy. That's my mom's dog.
It even knows it in different sizes and stuff.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Different ages. Oh my
And I can go ahead and I can put in Duck Toller and it's found it automatically. People always ask me if you can find cats using this piece of software, and my response is no. And they look at me and they go, why? And I go, because cats have no soul. What? Oh. Thank you. Thank you. I've got one person that agrees with me.
Until then,
I was doing fine until cats had no soul. But that's where it gets really cool. Now, here's the really cool thing. Now, when you tie it together with Google Maps, and you tie it together with Google's logic, and you tie it together with everything, you can do some really interesting things. I want you to go up into the search box and type in Richard Halloween Orlando.
Is this going to frighten us?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an idea of how this works. So if I type in Richard Halloween, Halloween, Orlando, do not leave out the Orlando or you will get frightened. Richard Halloween. Richard Halloween Orlando. We're typing Richard Halloween Orlando, and we get pictures of Richard and doing Halloween Orlando. What is the day of Halloween? But what's the actual date?
But it says 9/26/215.
Yep. So how? Well, it says September 26th, right?
You were lying. You weren't there on October 31st.
I never said I was there on October 31st. I just said Richard Halloween Orlando. Click on picture number 3.
I bet there's a word Halloween in there.
Yes, there is.
Gee.
It actually read the word Halloween and figured out to associate that word Halloween with that. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. In the back of that picture, you'll see the big evil clown. Do you see the big evil clown? If you look at the first picture, you can click the little white back arrow that shows in the upper left. If you look at the first picture, you got the big evil clown.
Right.
It associated the big evil clown with the word Halloween because it was able to understand. It can think better than most humans can. Think about that. So it's actually,
That's not saying
What?
much, by the way.
that's not saying much, I know. Autopilot. But the cool thing is, it actually figured that out. And here's the thing to understand. That clown is not only tagged as Halloween in my photos, but anybody else who's ever taken pictures with that clown, the system has gotten smarter. So this is kind of a selfish class, because as you use it, Google Photos gets smarter for me, but it gets smarter for all of you. And it can identify these things over time. Yeah?
Okay.
I
It
put
will-
in Richard
we can-
Closet, it's found,
We
it's
can
found.
type in Richard
That-
Yeah.
that's
and Julie
one.
and get that.
Yeah.
But some people call me Jan, most people call me Jan, but some people call me Mom and some people call me Grammy.
So they have not enabled a multi-feature name yet for that, but we're going to talk about sharing pictures, because this is how you would call yourself, because this is how you have yourself defined, if that makes sense.
But my grandkids, if they typed in Grammy,
On their Google Photos account, then they would get that, on their Google Photos account. Understand that your name is not shared across multiple accounts. Your name is just on your account. You name it just on your account. So the Halloween thing will work across multiples. Yep, your question? No? Okay.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yeah.
If you've got a camera without the GPS, does it recognize, how does it recognize?
So if you've got a camera without the GPS, if the camera has Wi-Fi or different things, it'll figure it out, but it can also, like I was saying with her picture, if she takes a picture, let's pay, for example, have we all been in New York City before at some point in time?
yes.
We've been in Central Park at some point in time. If you took a picture in Central Park, and I took a picture in Central Park that had the same background, but I had a normal camera, it would actually know that that was Central Park based on the background of her picture.
And if it didn't?
If it didn't, then it just doesn't. But here's the thing. You can name it. You can put a tag on there. You can put fake locations. You can do all those different things with it. Yes. Which is what's cool. Yeah, no problem, no problem. So you can put a name on it. You can put a tag on it. You can put all those different pictures on it. Now I want to show you 3 more things, and then we're good. I want to show you 3 more things with Google. Here's the thing. The 4th part of Google Photos, you're never going to fully understand it, okay? But I want to show you, because I don't fully understand it, but I want to show you how cool this is. I want you to go ahead. We're going to go back to the search box, where you see a search box on top of the screen. And you're going to type in donut. D-O-U-G-H-N-U-T or D-O-N-U-T. It doesn't matter how you spell it. We're going to type in donut, and we're going to get pictures of donuts. And probably some onion rings as well. Just because. So we get pictures of donuts and cronuts and, like, good question. You see that cronut right there? I'm not sure what port it was. Just watch my screen real quick. I'm going to show you something cool. I know this cronut was in Norway, but I'm not sure what port it was in, so I can click on it. I can hit the little information button, and I can see that was in Stavanger. So I know if I want that donut again, I can go get it. And not only can I see it was in Stavanger, I can actually see exactly where it was, because who would have guessed? Google Maps is built right in there. So Google Maps is built right into the donuts.
Where'd you click on the image?
What? I'm going to get you there in a second. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go to a single picture, and I'll show you how that works. I want us all to be on the same donut, though.
Oh, which one?
I'm going to tell you. We're going to get it down. We're going to eliminate donuts a bit. So we're going to go donut West Palm Beach. I had it at the fair. Donut West Palm Beach. And we will get some donuts in West Palm Beach. Some of you are looking at that and saying, what is that monstrosity?
Seriously.
It is a Krispy Kreme bacon cheeseburger donut.
Another place to get it.
Recommended by the American Heart Association.
Type that, if it will find that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Grizzlies,
Yeah?
Grizzlies in
Oh, this is the fair.
Illinois. I mean,
So,
but that's what they do.
Go ahead and click on the first donut there. That is a fantastic donut. It won't be an S. It'll be just donut.
You need help.
Oh my God.
And we'll see our Krispy Kreme bacon cheeseburger donut. Click on the first donut there. Now, there were a couple questions that were asked, and I'm going to answer them as easily as I can. You should see up, if you move your mouse up in the wrapper, you will see some little lines. You'll see 2 lines with 3 dots connecting them. Do you see that?
Yes.
In the upper right-hand corner, 2 lines, 3 dots connecting them. Upper right-hand corner. Click on those 2 lines with the little 3 dots. That's the share button. No, 2 lines, little 3 dots.
Alright, sir.
Yep, the one furthest to the left, that's the share button. Up, inside of here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Share button, I'll point it to you.
Was it this one? Oh,
No, right here.
where do you see share?
Share.
Add to share, I see.
If you click that, that will actually allow you to share that picture. Now the cool thing is you've got built into here, you've got your Gmail. You've got all that, so you can actually share a picture. The cool thing is once you have something in Google Photos,
Oh, this
you can
one.
share it,
Oh, I got it.
and you don't have to upload it or put it as an email attachment. It will just send someone a link to that photo. You can make a shared album, which has an unlimited number of photos inside of it. And here's the cool thing. I'm going to show you how thoughtful and forward-thinking Google Photos was. When you share an album, it removes the location data from that shared album. So nobody can trace you if you have it at home or anything like that. So it's intentional. When you share an album, this is how much it's thought about all of these things. You can actually, if you share an album with me, I can add pictures of that album. You can add pictures of that album. It's really cool. Last year, this was long before the iPhone came out that was, that had the, remember now that the iPhones are waterproof? Long before the waterproof iPhones, I had two Samsung phones. I had a Samsung Galaxy S6 and a Samsung Galaxy S7. I went out with someone in port. We both took our own pictures. We made a shared album, and we made the shared album. We shared it amongst each other. It was really quite cool. Now, you asked a question. Go ahead and click on the empty black space to the left or the right there. And you will see a little letter I. Do you see that? If you move your mouse around, you see a little letter I. Little I, like the letter I in a circle.
Oh, here.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Click that little I. Yeah, there we go. Click the I. And it's going to show you how it was shared. Yeah, here's the little letter I.
I don't see the eye.
There's an I. Move your mouse and then you'll see the I. There's the I.
Oh, the eye. Okay.
The I.
Sorry.
Now scroll down in there a little bit because a lot of people shared it. But if you scroll down, you'll see where the picture was taken, what the picture was taken with. You'll see it all in this data. This is what it's figuring out. Right now, it's too many people have hit share on that photo. It's trying to calculate what's going on there. But you'll see it's got my location. It's got everything like that. Give it a couple seconds. It'll catch up. You'll also see there's a little garbage can. Do you see the little garbage can right up there? Don't trash my donut. I need it. Every time someone trashes my donut by mistake, and I have to untrash it. But don't trash the donut. It's actually going to figure out what's going on there. So that's a really cool thing. I want everybody to click the little white arrow by the donut in the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to do something myself that I don't want you to follow along and do, because it's a little bit destructive. And then I'm going to show you two last things I'm not going to have you follow along with, because they're a little bit destructive. What I mean by they're a little bit destructive, I mean I'd have to do a lot of cleaning up of my library after this class if I wanted to do that. You'll see after the donut there's a little arrow right here, right?
Yes.
Don't click the arrow, just look at the arrow. It's okay if you clicked it, but I'm going to have to... Okay, if I click it, what it does is it expands out all of the pictures from that day. So I get every picture from the whole day, which is what's pretty cool. So I ate something else that day that was slightly more disgusting than a Krispy Kreme bacon cheeseburger donut.
Oh, we can't wait to find out.
Impossible. It's called a pork parfait.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, it's a real thing. Where is my pork parfait? There's my pork parfait.
Oh my God.
Barbecue pork, barbecue sauce. It's mashed potatoes, not ice cream. Oh my God.
Richard, do you walk around with a cholesterol counter app?
I actually have lost about 60 pounds. I've been good. I don't eat this crap anymore that often. One of the nice things you must try in Norway is a reindeer sausage. They're absolutely fantastic. There's little things that'll sell it to you out in the fort. You put the crunchy stuff on the top. There's nice fish chowders and everything. I'm so excited for the food in Norway. That's what I love more than anything else is the food outside. Don't eat in the ship in Norway. Seriously, go out, try some of the local food. Even if you don't eat a whole lunch, just get a reindeer sausage. Santa, it'll light up red. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I want to show you two last things on my screen. I'm not going to have you follow along because it'll take a little too long for us to follow along. I don't want us to all get to go to dinner. What's also cool is I can even have my photos automatically sorted by location. So you see I have these locations, Miami, Otis. I can say show more, and it will automatically sort my photos based on location. So it'll be, okay, Copenhagen, St. Petersburg, all of these different ones like that. And I can have all my locations over time. So this is Papenburg. This is where the ships are built. This is where all of these ships were built. So these are all of my different things from Papenburg when the ships were built. So Papenburg, Germany. I'm not going to let that load up real quick. But I've got all of these pictures over time in all of the places that I've taken the pictures. So it actually sorts them based on where they are. And the last thing I want to show you that's very cool is Google Photos can actually edit your photos for you.
Oh,
So I'm going to show you a picture my old assistant took in Rome. R-O-M-E. And this was not a panorama. I want to be very clear. What you're about to look at was not a panorama. It was a single picture that was then stitched together and turned into a panorama. It was not only turned into a panorama, it was also colorized. So it automatically took part of the image and made it black and white, and part of the image and made it color, which is insane. The problem is, this is a huge image to load. I'm going to give it a second, I'm going to let it load, but it actually colorizes the picture as well. I'm going to show you what goes on. So it's let me let that one load. I'll show you another one. I hit the wrong button. Photos. Google.com. Okay, here we go. I'm going to let that one load, but the other cool thing is there's something that Google Photos automatically does that are called creations. This is the automated thing, so it will automatically create things for you. So it'll take your images and it'll do all kinds of different things with them. The cool thing is I don't think you're going to, so this is the information, this is in Rome, Italy, it's inside the Vatican City, but I can go in, I'm going to show you that picture, don't worry, I'm multitasking. It's something that men don't do very well, but I'm pretty good at it. And it's going to load this picture. The problem is this picture is gigantic. But these are creations. What this is Google Photos will automatically edit my pictures and videos together into its own movie. It'll make movies, it'll make all of these different things right on Google Photos, which is really quite cool. I'm going to let that load for a second. So you'll see I've got this. This is when the ship went to Boston, and it automatically put the frame on. It automatically put the flag there. I didn't do any of this.
You don't have to tell it to do that?
That's what the notifications do. It'll tell you when it's done something cool. So I get a notification that says, hey, we made something cool with your video. Hey, we made something cool here. When you have a burst of pictures like this in a couple seconds, it will automatically animate these bursts of pictures of the dolphins swimming around and stuff like that. It automatically animates it. The cool thing is, Google Photos, here's the Rome picture that I told you about.
Oh my God, look at that.
That's in Vatican City. It automatically colorized and put that together. It was not taken as a pano, which is what's really cool. It actually figured that out because it has reference images. And look, there I am, riding on the dolphins.
Yeah. It kept the originals as well.
It has kept the originals as well. These are in addition to. That's what's really cool. So these are in addition to the originals. Yeah.
Bigger than 16 megapixels then.
This is fine because only the source needs to be smaller than 16 megapixels. The source image, it's sticking them together so that a panorama can actually be larger than 16 megapixels, just to give you a little bit of an idea. I want to end with one last thing I'll show you. This is actually a movie that Google Photos made automatically with videos. I took videos with my Samsung phone. I had taken a picture with my iPhone of a light bulb that was out in the iLounge slightly before I took this video. It actually automatically stitched together the video and the light bulbs and put it to music. Ah, I hit the wrong button. Automatically, yeah. I didn't add this music.
Do they use your own music?
No, it uses its own content. So it has its own library of music, rights-free music that you can share and do everything with. Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm done.
And this is in creation?
This is in creations, but there's the light bulb that's out. It will automatically do all of that. That is, in a nutshell, Google Photos. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys all around. Bye!